So in section 1 of this chapter, we found percentages using our percent proportion. I told you in that lesson that we would later be using an equation, so that's what we're doing in section 3. We're going to be finding our part, finding our percent, and finding our whole, but this time we are using an equation. So the equation is part equals percent times whole. A couple notes here. Your part is still your is. Our whole is still our of. If you remember your is over of. And your percent is written as a decimal. That means you have to take it and divide by 100 if you're given your percent. All right, our first example, finding the percent. 287 is what percent of 410? Again, highlighting those words. So our is 287. Our of is 410. And our what percent? Percent is our unknown, so that's our variable. So part 287 equals percent, that's my variable, times our whole, so our of, which is 410. Then to solve this, just like we've done in the past, if we have a number times a variable, we're going to divide. So divide by 410, divide by 410. And if you divide this, we get 7/10 equals x. Now, this is not our percent. When you're looking for percent, you have to multiply by 100 at the end. So we take that times 100 and we get 70% as our final answer. Okay, so don't forget, when we're using the equation, if you're looking for a percent, you must multiply by 100 at the end. All right, next example. Again, we have that part equals percent times whole, where percent is written as a decimal. So find 62% of 75. So there's our of. So this is our whole is 75. We have our percent, but we need to divide this by 100 at the beginning because it has to be written as a decimal. So that gives us 0.62. And there's nothing here about the part, so that means that our part is our variable. So part, the variable equals percent as a decimal times our whole. So if we go to our calculator, 0.62 times 75, we get that x equals 46 and a half, so 46.5. Okay, so there was an example where we had to divide by 100 first for our percent. And one more like this. Finding the whole, 33 is 55% of what number? So our part is 33. We have our percent and our of, what number? That tells us that's our variable. Divide our percent by 100. We get 0.55. Now substituting into our equation, part equals percent times whole. So 33 equals 0.55 times x. And just like we did earlier, we're going to divide by that number with the variable. Divide both sides by 55 hundredths. And 33 divided by 0.55 gives us that our whole was 60. Okay, now that we've used our percent equation to find the percent, the part, and the whole, now we're going to apply it. Solving a real-world problem. A camera costs $250. If a 6% sales tax is added, what is the total cost? So there's two methods that you can use in order to solve this. The first method would be to find the tax first and then add it. So that's saying find 6% of 250. So 6% as a decimal, if we divide by 100, is 0.06. Just because I'm running out of room, I already know it. So our part is what we're looking for. So x equals 6/100 times 250. We go ahead and multiply that. Go to our calculators. We get that x is 15. Now this is our tax. Be careful what the question's asking for. I want the total cost. So if my camera costs 250, so my total cost then equals the cost of the camera, $250, plus our tax. So that gives us a total cost of $265. Okay, so there's example 1 where you found your tax first and then added it. Now method 2, we're going to find the total percent first. So if I took my 100% cost, that's my $250, plus my 6% tax, means that in total I will be paying 106%. Now if we divide that by 100 to go into our equation, my percent as a decimal would be 1.06. So we then go to the equation. We're still looking for a part. So x equals 1.06 times our whole, which is 250. Multiply that out, we get that x equals 1.06 times 250 is 265. And we're talking about money, so dollars. If we compare, we'll see that we got the same answer both ways. It's just whether or not you want to add at the end or if you want to add at the beginning. All right, so there is lesson 3 using our percent equation. Now we've got a now you try. 2 questions. One of them is a tax word problem and the other is just a regular what percent problem. Please make sure you are using the equation on both of them, not the proportion.